I'm Megan. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I actually had a hard time deciding whether or not I wanted to do TBRs on my channel, and I have decided to take a middle road. I'm going to do TBRs, but I'm going to do them very short, and I think the advantage of that is I think putting TBRs out there allows people to buddy read with you if they want to. It allows you to have a little bit more structure to your reading and to focus on books that are really important to you. But it also allows you to have some flexibility with your reading and to mood read when you want to and just pick up books without having to be concerned about, I said I was going to read exactly these books and this is all I have time for in a given month. So my plan, I've been reading about 20 books, a little over that so far this year each month. So I'm going to do 5 books for my TBR, and then I'm gonna have one book that I'm currently in the middle of, either a carryover from the previous month or even from farther back than that, that I'd really like to finish this month. The first book I have on my list is Winter Counts by David Heska, Wanbli, Weiden. And this is a mystery thriller book by an Indigenous author about an Indigenous population. So it's an own voices story, which should be really cool. And it is set on a reservation, basically around the premise that heroine shows up on this reservation and the main character in the story is trying to figure out where it is coming from and stop it from making its way into the community and disrupting the way of life there. The second book I have on this list is The Midnight Bargain by Polk. This is about a woman who has magic, but also has a responsibility to her family based on the time period that she lives in to get married to a rich man to rescue them from their debts. And once she becomes married, she loses her magical abilities. So she has to go through this tough journey choosing between getting married, even if it's for love, versus keeping her powers and following the course of her magical abilities to become the person that she thinks she is supposed to be. The third book on my list is The Paris Secret by Natasha Lester. This is a historical fiction that is based in 3 different time periods. The first time period takes place in World War II and follows the lives of 2 sisters, one of whom is a fighter pilot. The second time period takes place about 8 years later, I believe, and follows a man who is creating a set of gowns based on the lives and times of the women in the first time period. And then the third time period is present day, where a woman is discovering the secrets of her grandmother by finding all of these gowns in the attic, which I'm assuming are the gowns that we discover in the second time period. The fourth book on this list is The Night Sky with Exit Wounds by Vuong. This is a contemporary poetry collection, and it is supposed to be about a bunch of different subjects, including romance, family, memory, grief, war, and melancholia, according to the blurb on Goodreads about it. So I think it will be really interesting to see what the author has to say about all these different subjects and how they wrap together. It's supposed to be really inspiring and very uplifting. The fifth and final book I have on this is the only nonfiction one I have of these 6. In future lists, I'll probably try and make a little bit more balance between fiction and nonfiction, but this is the list that I have for today. And this book is Ace by Angela Chen. Best I could tell, some of the genres that it fits under are LGBTQIA+, and then psychology, also sexuality, that kind of thing. And this is a book about what it means to live in our society as an asexual identifying person, and what that also means when it combines with other identities such as disability, different racial identities, different gender identities, all sorts of different representations, and how that affects the experience of these people living in the world. So I'm really excited to read that book. The final book I have is my book that I would like to continue reading, and I'm actually I think only about 50 pages into this book, so I haven't made it very far, but I've been trying to read this one for probably close to a year now, maybe more like 9 months. But that book is Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is a YA fantasy, and this is the third book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I really loved Six of Crows duology, and I have not loved the Shadow and Bone trilogy as much, so I have been having a hard time getting into this last book, specifically because I have been doing a lot of audiobooks lately, and this one I have not found it available on audiobook in anywhere that I've been getting audiobooks, so I've been reading it in ebook, and I have not made a lot of progress, but I would like to finish this series. The series is about a young woman who is working as a cartographer and ends up she's going into this very dangerous area called the Fold in her country, which is just this like really dark area filled with scary monsters. And the ship that she's traveling on, I think it's actually a skiff, but the vehicle that she's traveling on is attacked by monsters, and she ends up being forced into using this magical ability that she didn't even know she had, and now she becomes part of this elite group with magical abilities known as the Grisha. And there are 3 different types of Grisha. There are Grisha who control elements, there are Grisha who control materials, and there are Grisha who control bodies. And she is unique because she is a Grisha who controls an element, but that element is sunlight, and she's the only known Grisha who is able to do that. And so the thought is that she'll be able to rescue this country from the Fold, this dark place filled with scary monsters, forever. And so this is the conclusion to that story, that trilogy. I'm also really wanting to finish this one because although I've read the Six of Crows duology, I actually read that one first. I have yet to read the King of Scars duology, which is the other associated series with this, and I'm really excited to read that one, so I'd like to get through this one. So those are the 6 books that are my March hopefuls. If you would like to buddy read any of them with me, please let me know. If you have any book suggestions, also let me know that. I would love to chat with you in the comments. Thank you so very much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful March.